Hey everyone, my name is Matt. Welcome to my shop. Today is September 21st, and this is my weekly shop update. So, pretty big week coming up. It is Woodworking in America, and I am heading out on Thursday morning. I'm heading down there to Kansas City. I'm in Minneapolis, heading down to Kansas City with Dima and Andy Klein and Dima Gamayunov. We are going to be driving down Thursday morning. We're making a few pit stops sort of on the way, the mosquitoes again, sort of on the way and past. So we are going to be driving through Des Moines, and we're going to be stopping at the Woodsmith store sometime about maybe 10 o'clock in the morning or so. So if you live in Des Moines and you want to meet us, we'll be there for a little bit at the Woodsmith store. So leave me a comment or something if you're going to be around and you want to meet us. We'll certainly try to schedule something so that we can all meet up if you're not doing anything on a Thursday morning. We're going to be driving through Kansas City, going past it all the way down to Springfield to stop at the Grizzly showroom. So if you live down there in that area of Missouri, someone's talking to me, please let me know as well. We'll be there probably around, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 in the afternoon or so, depending on how the first part goes, because Dima wants to stop at Krispy Kreme. So we'll see how long we're there for. But Woodsmith store, and then Grizzly, and then back up to Kansas City for the evening there Thursday night. And then the whole weekend is going to be pretty crazy, I am sure. Who is talking to me? Oh, Nick Ferry. Always trying to distract me from what I'm doing. Nick. Oh, man. Okay, that just threw me off now. Anyway, so I'll be there. I'll be taking video and all that fun stuff. So again, if you're going to be there at Woodworking in America, I'm really looking forward to meeting you. It's going to be an absolute blast because it will be. So last week I had my live Ask Matt last Wednesday. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who was able to jump on and ask questions and be part of that. That's going to be a regular thing that I'm doing now every other month. So the last one I did was in July. The next one will be in November. Mid-November. So middle of the month, I'll be doing these every other month. It's a lot of fun, great turnout. So again, thank you for everyone who made it out for the show there and all the great questions. I'm always surprised with the great questions that I get asked in those things, because I kind of sit down there like, I don't know who's going to be here to ask me questions, and then just awesome questions. So thank you everyone for being there, watching, participating, asking questions, and of course if you watch it later, thank you for that as well. So the most exciting thing for me this week that I wanted to share with you was yesterday I went out with Dima to one of his coworkers' place. He has some land and he had a couple of butternut trees that were dying that he wanted removed. So we went out there, we cut them down, we cut them into lumber, and he helped load them onto the trailer for us. So I was able to take back 2 butternut trees, but unfortunately they're pretty heavily rotted, so I'm not sure how much usable lumber I'm going to be able to get out of them, but I'll be doing a video about milling those up as well. Dima is going to be having a video about the actual log extraction process. So that's going to be a story of our trip down there. It was about an hour or so away. Went out there, we found the trees, we cut them down, we cut them to length, and we loaded them on the trailer. Drove them back here to my place and then unloaded the trailer in my backyard. So that was a fun, exciting time. So if you're not subscribed to Dima's channel, head over there and subscribe to his channel so you don't miss that video, because that's going to be a fun one for sure.
That's professionalism right there.
A little preview. So in the shop this week, I was working on the crib a little bit. I started finishing up the spindles. So hopefully this will focus here if I walk up to the camera. There. All right. So this is the rough spindle off of the router. You can see how rough that surface is. And then this is the finished one that I did with the sandpaper. So once it gets sanded up, it gets super smooth, all of that tear out is gone, and then it looks perfect. And these turned out really great, so I'm really looking forward to finishing up this part of the project because it's kind of tedious. And I also started to work on the rails that connect the uprights together, the two side assemblies together. And all I did there so far was cut the mortises. Boop. Cut the mortises top and bottom for the connecting rails. Woo! I don't know why that was so hard. I cut the top and bottom mortises for the top and bottom connecting rails. These guys right here. So that was the extent of my shop time this week, at least. So before we close up today, I wanted to address a few questions from last week, and that was about the slabs and how dry they were and all that fun stuff. So I have a few things to say about that. So the slabs themselves right now, they are at 18%, which is still too high to work with, especially for indoors. Now I have a few things kind of working towards me in my favor. The first of which is I'm building an outdoor table, so the moisture content doesn't need to be nearly as low as if it was going to be an indoor table. They need to come down below probably 15% for them to be really stable for an outdoor project, at least around here. And the other thing is I've moved the pieces that I cut into the house to dry a little bit, probably for the next 4 weeks. So that project is sort of on hold for now, for the next few weeks until they dry a little more, and then I can bring them out here and start working with them. Now the other thing that's sort of working in my favor, and I think that's the question that people have the most, or that's the reason that people have the question the most of why I was using them so soon, because I cut them last November. So people are wondering, well, they're so thick, how long they've been drying for. And they've only been out there for 10 months. Now again, there's a couple things in my favor there as well. The biggest factor in that was that those logs were so dry before I cut them. Both those logs were sitting on the forest floor for over a decade. So they did have a good amount of time to really get rid of a lot of that high moisture that's in the wood initially. So it's not like a totally new log being sawn up. It was a lot drier. I think it was sitting in the upper 20% moisture content when I put them out there, and now they're down to the 18. The other thing is that since they're out in the yard, just totally out in the open there, they get a lot of airflow. So every single time there's a breeze coming through or wind or whatever, a lot of air going through there, drying out that lumber, which helps it dry even faster. Now, again, they're not going to be totally dry by the time that I want to use them. They'll probably be a little bit too wet still for most applications, but I'm not really too concerned with it. It's an outdoor table. It's sort of a more rustic-y kind of thing anyway. So if there are any issues, it's going to kind of add to the overall look of it. Anyway, so we'll see what happens, but I'm not too worried about it. I'm sure they'll dry quite a bit in the next month in the house. So that's that, I think. So I think that's about it for today. Again, if you're heading to Woodworking in America this week, I'm looking forward to meeting you. It's going to be a fun time. If you're not, make sure you're following as many people are going to be there as possible on social media, because I'm sure it's going to be like you're there. Especially with Periscope now, so make sure you're following at least a few people on Periscope to kind of get a live feed of what's going on there at the show. So yeah, thank you as always for watching. I greatly appreciate it. If you have any questions, comments, please feel free to leave those down below. I greatly appreciate those, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have. Until next time, happy woodworking.